The subject of this episode of Stable Talk, Dennis Drier. A man who's not only one of the most affable gentlemen in racing, but also has one of the most impeccable pedigrees. His great-grandfather, Alec Laird, rode the winner of the 1911 Durban July horse called Nobleman. His great-uncle, Sid Garrett, one of the greatest trainers in this country of all time, not only rode, but also trained winners of the Durban July. Dennis's mentor, Uncle Sidney Laird, who trained 7 Durban July winners, and his cousins, Alec and Charles, like Dennis, have both trained winners of the July. Dennis trains here at Summerveld in this beautiful part of KwaZulu-Natal. And of course, the stable star and the talking horse, as far as Dennis is concerned, is Beach Beauty. Let's take a stroll across, meet Dennis, and meet this little star filly. Dennis, good morning, and once again a plan has come together.
Yeah, love to be with you again, Jim.
Dennis, tell us a little bit about this girl. I mean, she's as calm as a lamb here. Does she ever get nervous, excited?
No, she's just such a peach of a filly. She's never given us a hassle. And on the track, as you know, she just gives her all every time. And it was a great thrill having won the Garden Province again.
She was drawn badly, 16 I think it was, and so obviously that meant you had to get Sean to ride her possibly a little bit differently the way she
Well, that's right.
is.
You know, we usually like to place her, have her a little bit closer, but from that draw, it was over to Sean.
Yeah.
And he did it with flying colours.
Dennis, she's a 5-year-old now, so rising 6. But looks as though she's still enjoying her racing. Will you take her to Cape Town?
She loves it, Jim. She really does. And, you know, we've discussed it many a time. And, you know, she hasn't done the roof of Africa. She's never been to Joburg, Cape Town, Joburg. We've tried to plan every race for her. And that's where my job was made much easier with the syndicate and Trevor. We've decided we'll give her another year, and the biggest plus with her, Jim, she's never ever had a vet bull.
Trevor Armitage, her breeder in Standerton, hasn't been all that well, and he's had a funny little quirk along the line. He's I think only come to see her once.
I think he came once and she got beat. I stand to correction. And he said, "No, Dennis, that's for me. I'm not coming again." And since then, he's never been to see her.
Have you ever trained a filly as good as she is at the Tamale? We all know about Valdera.
No. I think Valdera and Beach, they're the 2 absolutely outstanding fillies.
That you've ever trained in your career?
Trained, yeah. And sure, I don't think I'll get another Beach or a Val.
Yeah. Dennis, looking back over the years, what would you say is the best horse you've trained?
The best horse I've ever trained was Harmony Forever.
Harmony Forever, Ashton Town, London News. Harmony Forever, Ashton Town, flying down the inside. Harmony Forever's going to keep going though, and Harmony Forever beat Ashton Town, London News 3rd.
He had major problems, and I retired him, and Mike had the courage to buy him, and I think it was the 1900 he won by about 6 lengths in record time. And Mike said to me, "Dennis, if this horse doesn't go wrong, he'll win the July." And unfortunately, he went wrong again.
Yeah. But you've had your July winner along.
Yeah, he was a great horse, but he wasn't a champion.
Yeah.
He was all heart. I mean, you know, he got the name of the bridesmaid, but he was just bloody stiff in a lot of those races.
Spanish
he really
Galliard.
was, Spanish Galliard.
Yeah. Dennis, your career really goes back to the days of your uncle Sid Laird, and how long were you with him?
Those were great days, Jim. I started with Uncle Sid in 1968. I started with Mazarin. Then there was Archangel. Then there was Yet Again. Then there was Ocean City. I mean, I can just keep on naming them.
Would you say that Sydney really gave you the foundation that you needed?
Oh, absolute. I mean, that was like any young boy going to university. I went to the Maestro.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable horseman. And, you know, I had the opportunity to go overseas, but being with Uncle Sid, I didn't need to go overseas. I learnt everything here, right here.
Your stable at the moment, heavier on younger horses than more established ones like this?
Very much so, Jim.
Yeah.
And what a position to be in.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Let's go and see some of the ones that you regard as up and coming.
Jim, and now we're with Stewie, our assistant.
The student's been with you for how long now?
Stewie's been with me 5 years, and he's a major part of the cog. Unbelievable. I think he's got a bit of a calming effect on me, which I need very, very badly. And he is with a colt called Captain on the Run. He's run once and won, and I rate him, and I think he's got a hell of a future.
Captain on the Run by 3 parts of a length. King Horizon's trying hard, but Captain on the Run continues to go, and Captain on the Run by just over a length.
This is an incredibly proportioned colt. Dennis, is he one that you actually were given the opportunity to choose? Did you buy him from a year or so?
Jim, you know, this is where I say you've got to be so lucky in racing. We missed a couple at the sale,
Yeah.
and Derek and Marcus said, don't worry, we got a couple on the farm. And I was lucky enough to get this big chap.
Well, it looks like
And he's out of a mare called Blue Swift, but not the South African Blue Swift. She's an Australian filly, by Redoubt's choice.
When it comes to choosing horses, you study pedigrees as much as you study conformation. Do the pedigrees intrigue you at all?
Oh, very much so. You know, all the viewing and the selecting is done by Jill and I. It's not a one-man team. And we do everything together, everything. We go to the studs, we do the horses on the sales, and we try and look at as many as possible on the sales or when we go around to the farms.
But going back to this guy, he's now what? He's just a 2-year-old.
He's a 2-year-old, drives in 3.
At
He's
this,
a magnificent
yeah,
individual. Hopefully he'll be on the list for Cape Town,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
So Dennis, what are you going to show me now? It's another 2-year-old? Oh, he's lying down and relaxing.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
This is a colt by Jetmaster called Eternal Jet, out of a mare called Easy Jade Easy.
Oh, she was a superstar.
Absolute.
I think
And
Mary Slack actually bred
well, it's
her.
an unbelievable family, Jim. Very impressive when he won his first start. To overcome missing the break, Scottsville first time, coming through the field, only a special horse, I think, Jim, could have done that.
Now, he's lying down here looking terribly relaxed. Do you like to see them like that?
Yes, yes. I love it. Young horses that lie down a lot, it's an indication that they're growing.
Do you find that as 2-year-olds they need more food, they take less food than a bigger horse? How does it work?
You know, Jim, I was always taught each horse is an individual. So that's why your feed room and your manger are such an important part of training the racehorse. You've got to know what's going into them, what they leave, what they don't leave. And you've just got to be very sharp and strict. It's just check, check, check. So each horse has a complete different feed. I've been on Epol now, I think about 6-7 years. I don't think I'll ever change. You know, I went on to the Mike de Kock Speed Max, and hell, I've never been happier. Never. My horses come out of their races better. They don't lighten up. And again, they get in the consistent feed, and I only add Lucerne. That is the only additive that I add to my Speed
That's
Max.
important to just give them
I
that
think so.
roughage.
I think so.
Time now for our feeding hint of the week. Brought to you by Epol, in the interests of promoting superior equine nutrition. Did you know that studies by Dr. Nerida Richards, an equine nutritionist based in Newcastle, New South Wales, have shown that although starch contained in extruded and micronized grains is better digested in the small intestine than unprocessed or raw cereal grains, and may help to keep horses calm, feeding excess cooked grains to improve starch uptake can be potentially hazardous. This is because an overload of cooked starch into the hindgut is quickly fermented into lactic acid, which itself can trigger nervous behavior and low-grade laminitis.
Sonny Whiteford was one of the first chaps I know that went onto the cubes.
But he was of the old school.
No. Uncle Sonny was a character. I mean, as lovely a man he was, and his head boy Edward, he ran the show. So after a couple of months, when Uncle Sonny's horses were coming out and bloody winning, Uncle Sidney said to me, listen, no, I can't feed this cube, but let's put 6 horses on the cube.
Just as an experiment.
Let's experiment. Go and ask Uncle Sonny how to feed. So I went over, Uncle Sonny was in his office. I said to him, Uncle Sonny, Uncle Sid wants to know, how do you feed the cubes? He says, oh, I don't know, ask Edward. So I found Edward, the head boy. I said, Edward, Uncle Sidney wants to know how you feed the cubes. He says, half a bucket morning, half a bucket afternoon.
Sid wasn't
That was the end
impressed.
of it. Well, we went and we just mixed the oats, mixed the lucerne, mixed the digestive bran, and I honestly don't remember when Uncle Sidney went on to cubes.
So today, of course, Epol can make anybody look good.
Today, thanks to Epol and Speed Max Mike, the cock, I'm happy. I'm as happy as hell.
This is Captain of all, another Captain Al, and tell us about him. He's distinguished himself already, hasn't he?
Hasn't he? Sure.
Yeah.
You know, he was just beaten on July Day, and then of course he won the Grade 1 medallion at Scottsville.
He's by Captain Al. On the dam side, what would it indicate?
It would indicate 12, 14, but you know, hopefully he may get a mile. His sister is group or listed place over a mile in Cape Town, so we're hoping. Definitely he will be on the Cape Town
Will
list.
he be racing again during this season?
I don't think so, Jim. Now we'll give them all their horse sicknesses, give them a little break, and then hopefully all going well off to Cape Town.
Okay.
Big boy.
Dennis, this must be not only one of the most beautiful horses in the country at the moment, but also, if you look at him purely from a locally bred perspective, he's probably the best bred horse in South Africa now. Tell us about him.
Jimmy, it's unbelievable. He is magnificent. I rate him very highly.
Now, he's typical of his sire, Jetmaster. I mean, he couldn't be more typical.
Oh no, I think he's one of the best looking horses I've ever seen.
And Mama, of course, was a superstar.
Well,
Promise from my heart.
promise from my heart, unbelievable. So, you know, pedigree to die for. I do think he has group wins in him on what he's shown me. Still a little bit immature. He got beat first time. It was just he beat himself. And then next time, well, he really won very, very
Where was
impressively.
that?
That was at Scottsville. I think it was a great pity that he missed his 3-year-old career. So now, you know, you got to take a different route now. And we'll get there.
He's still got to earn his way into some of these big races.
Exactly. He's got to live up to what Sean
Yeah.
and I think he is.
Yeah.
And hopefully he will. But I do have lots and lots of faith in this
huge
big boy.
excitement up ahead,
Yeah.
I hope. All right, well, he is gorgeous, but I must say that you've got a string lurking here in these stables, and some of them
Well,
unexposed.
It's exactly what I said to you earlier on, Jim. You know, we got a young string, but a young string that is looking bright.
Jave Dora, a Jetmaster colt who's won 4 of his 8 starts and finished second in the Cape Guineas, was not on the premises when we visited Dennis Drier, but his trainer's expecting him to be one of the stars of the string, which he'll be taking to the Cape this coming summer. With one of the most powerful strings he's ever been able to muster, Dennis Drier looks to be a force to be reckoned with during the Cape summer season, and some of his younger horses could become contenders for the Classics. Join us again in a fortnight's time for another edition of Stable Talk on Teletrack.